Right, now that we are familiar with the navigation menu for Realtor.com, we proceed to tell them what we want to do. Well, we want to do a search as buyers, right? And we will enter the address of that property that we found either driving for dollars or someone gave us the lead, okay? So in this case, as I type, the options of the properties come up, and I can tell that makes it very convenient. Okay, let's say, for example, I received this lead and I want to know more characteristics of the property. So this, we can observe here their status. This one is off market. Okay, but this property somehow has pictures. Possibly was listed on the MLS and then removed from the MLS. So at some point, a real estate agent might have been working with this family and deactivated, but did not remove the pictures. This information is pretty much a duplicate of what the MLS, multiple listing service, would have reflected at some point. But we can see, we get some facts of the home. Right? The home value, according to Realtor.com, has been an increase and decrease. About 2020 went up to $152,400, and today is estimated about $131,100 according to today's market. But all of these are tools that help us understand some of the features of this property. Realtor.com give us a brief comparables. Okay, this is always good to verify through the actual MLS. So find a friend who might be a real estate agent. Also, comparables from map view. The ones in black are those properties that are currently for sale. The ones in red are those that have been actually, the red ones are those that are for sale, and the black ones, those that have been sold. This is definitely help us to run comparables. We can see this property approximately the same square footage, 1,294 versus 1,314. Both of them 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. Was sold for 143,000 on June 11, 2020. The key here is to find comparables that are within 3, perhaps no more than 6 months of the date sold, but ideally 3 months or less. And also the same characteristics as far as bedrooms, bathrooms, and plus minus 200, 250 on the square footage. If we open this property in another tab, we can also see what conditions that property was sold. Well, this one is not the best example, and also only had one picture, doesn't show interiors. Like, let's check another one. Perhaps this one, 145,000. Let's see, this could be a good example. This one has 24 pictures, so it should give us a good idea what conditions was sold at that price. Okay. Make these pictures even by double clicking. Make the page. We see this is not much different than the lead we're interested on, right here. This is the property we're interested to find a little bit more information. Well, this one is the one that was sold sometime in the last 3 months. Okay, so that pretty much is a brief overview on what information to gather from Realtor.com. The same we can do through other websites. For example, I like Trulia.com, and it has some features that Realtor.com may not necessarily have. I will look for the same property. As I type, we see it comes up. Do a search. They come up with another estimate, right? This one about $30,000 higher. That's why it's important to, when we talk to a seller, ask them, oh, that's the price you're asking. How do you come up with that price? And did you get it appraised recently? It's a good question I like to ask. They recently got it appraised, or they perhaps may tell you, well, it's what we saw on Zillow, or they can say a real estate agent friend of mine gave me that. But it's always good to understand where they're coming with the asking price. Okay. Um, this is also a tool they have to provide comparables on Trulia.com, and they even uh, disclose line item by line item that information. So a little bit more user friendly, something that help us to determine an after repair value. Okay. Information about the school. So Trulia, again, very user-friendly, pretty straightforward. Here, something that I particularly like is this local information. It gives me a quick view of the schools in relation to that property. We see the property of interest here in blue with the assigned schools. But not only that, also the crime rate. Here are some tables, see from lowest to highest crime rate, and it tells us in relation to that home what has been reported by authorities, okay, theft, description, dates. So uh, it's good to correlate information about among these sources about the property, but as well to have a good understanding, to identify good understanding of the property, to identify things to talk with the homeowners. The more casual we make these cold callings, the more human, right, and friendly we can elaborate these conversations, the more chances we will have to identify what are really their pain points, what are their needs, how can we help them and provide them a solution. More than just simply, are you interested in receiving an offer for your property, or did you want to sell your property? I'm a cash buyer, right? I mean, we need to go beyond that. Otherwise, we will be like everybody else. So that concludes pretty much the lesson here. Brief introduction on how to search for a lead through Realtor.com and Trulia. I encourage that each of you navigate through each of these websites, become familiar with their content, create a user account so you can receive alerts. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you.